Today we're going to talk about my experience in the recent WCQ. It literally just ended 1 minute ago, and I'm recording this video. I did not play a single game in speed duels. As you can see, I'm still in first stage, D level 12, which is like the default. I don't want to play matches against Stardust every single time. I'd rather have fun playing Rush duels, and the main reason why I decided to only grind for Rush, other than speed is horrendous, is because we recently got new Dark Galaxy support, and that is by far my favorite Rush duel deck. And I want to just play some games with it, and also try to grind for as many card chronicle effects on my deck as possible to make it just look nice. And the amount of points I ended up getting is around 20k, like a bit more than 20k, which is, I think, enough for top 300. I did get to top 100 at some point, and I just did not get lucky enough to win past that. And so I just basically stayed around the 20k mark, and then the top 100 bar of entry got up to like 32k, and then I just couldn't catch up. But that's okay. I will be sharing the screenshot of my games won and total amount of games and win rate as probably a screenshot in a YouTube post. So if you want to just have a look, you can go and check it out over there. But today basically I'll just talk about what deck I played and what I've learned from playing in this format. So I played two versions of Dark Galaxy. I'll talk about the one that I used first, which is my go-to version of Dark Galaxy that I usually play in ranked, which is just the version that plays the equip spell Tearfing. So this is basically like a no-brain version. It wins games really quickly by just having Crystal Ore deal piercing damage by having an equip spell equipped to it, and then it attacks usually 3 times. So I did add a couple of spells to it. Usually I play only the one equip spell and no other spells, so the Crystal is guaranteed to attack 3 times, but I find that having like one Pot of Greed and two Curse of the Rising Light helps you draw into the Crystal Ore more consistently. Because this deck relies on this card so much, it kind of helps to deck fin a bit to help you draw into your win condition. So I find that having like a very small amount of spells to increase the draw power helps a bit, but sometimes the drawback is that you mill spell cards with your mill sometimes, and that is not ideal, but it is a drawback that I am willing to take. And this deck worked really well at the very beginning. So I basically only started at day 2 because I got stuff to do on day 1. I began playing on day 2, I won few games, I won all the way to like 12k, and then I lost a bunch of games in a row, got down to 5k, and then I just kept winning. I won like 10 games, more than 10 games in a row, got all the way to 22k on the middle of day 2, I think, and that's enough to get to top 100. So I took my screenshot before I knew that I probably won't stay there for too long, so I had my moment of celebration, and then I just continued playing with this deck. And that is probably one of the mistakes that I've made in this event, because this is definitely not the ideal way to play this deck, because it is playing the worst skill. There is a better skill that came out with the new support, and that is by far the better skill in just every way possible, but this skill basically lets you win games a lot quicker by just having a piercing Crystal Ore. But in terms of just consistency and just well-roundedness, definitely the other skill would be better. And I kept playing with this deck, and eventually I got really unlucky. I lost a whole bunch of games in a row. I got all the way down to 9k on day 3, which is miserable, and I decided to switch. I switched to a different version of the deck, just playing a new skill, basically. And this is the deck that I ended up with on day 3, and it basically got me to where I am currently. So I'm gonna quickly explain the ratios on this deck. This is playing the new Requiem contact skill. It lets you basically add any pieces that you are missing for your contact fusions. And even though you only get to add it to your hand once per duel, you do get to stack your top deck every turn. And that helps with stuff like Cataphract to guarantee a mill, or Cool Stars to just add the thing to your hand, and stuff like that. So we're playing a minimum amount of spells. I don't like playing traps in Dark Galaxy because it messes with your mills. You want to have consistent monster mills with Chrysaor and Cataphract and your Forbidden Requiem, because that is your win conditions basically, and you want them to be consistent. And even if you have, like, say, 2 or 3 copies of Shiny Shady, it's usually going to be popped by your opponent's deck, because most decks nowadays have in-engine ways to pop back row, and if you're playing a really low amount of back row, they are just going to pop it, so no reason to just play traps just for your opponent to pop. So we are only playing 3 spells. These are the draw power spells, 1 Pot of Greed and 2 Curse of a Rising Light, same with the other version. And then we're not playing the Void Veil Pale Rider, whatever it's called. I think it's called White Rider. It's the other limit free card. We're not playing White Rider. I think a lot of people realize this, but White Rider is just not good enough to occupy the limit free spot, because Chrysaor is just a way better card usually. It helps with the OTK potential of this deck, it helps the deck win a lot quicker, it's more targets for your Forbidden Requiem to hit because it has 1600 or more attack, it makes it more likely for it to be able to pop stuff on the field. And just an all-around better card than White Rider. So we are also basically playing other utility monsters. We're playing Cool Stars. If you have 3 Cool Stars, you should be playing 3 Cool Stars, because the skill stacks your top deck and then this just draws into your top deck, even though, you know, the skill does give you the 2 tribute effect anyway, but you play this card for the draw power and not the 2 tribute effect. Globule is much better when you're playing Chrysaor in your deck, because it actually has a relevant effect. But even if you're not playing Chrysaor and your skill gives you 2 tributes anyway, you still want to play this card if you could, because it helps you shuffle back your Forbidden Requiem, which you only have 1 copy, and your Beyond Probe. Sometimes you want a 3rd copy just to be able to pop your opponent's stuff. And then obviously Stalk and Dark Matter Explorer are the main way you go into your contact fusions. And a Burstwave Blaster is something that I usually don't like playing, but I think that the burn damage comes up more than I thought. Having just 600 burn damage usually is sometimes game winning, and when you're able to turn your opponent's monster into light, your Requiem gets a bit more attack, and that will come up. It has come up more than I thought, and also you just want more monsters to play in this deck, and this is like the 7th best option, I think. But yeah, this deck worked really well. If I had more time with this deck, I definitely could see myself getting in a higher position. But basically, here's the other mistake with me playing this deck, which is that I grinded with this deck way too late into the whole event, because at near the end of the event, it was a lot more Void Velg and a lot more Gradius, because everyone wants to play like the quick OTK decks to try to squeeze in some wins before the end of the event. And Gradius cooks this deck alive, not because the engine is powerful, it's because they play 3 copies of this horrendous card. A Star Protector's Protection is a war criminal. This card, they draw it every single time, and when they activate this card, you just cannot win. This card single-handedly completely shuts this deck down, and you just kind of have to hope that they don't draw it. It's not a guaranteed loss, but it's really, really rough whenever you see your opponent activate this card, especially when they activate like 2 turns in a row. And against the mirror match, it's kind of just a coin flip matchup. You just kind of have to hope that they don't have the Crystal Ore, plus you kind of have to hope that the Forbidden Requiem mills are bad, but usually it's whoever goes second has the advantage, and it just kind of depends on who gets luckier. So if I had realized this early, I would probably grind more towards the beginning of the WCQ and then just sit down and relax during the end period to basically avoid these matchups. But well, sometimes I just can't control my schedule, and if I could grind on day one, I probably would have grinded on day one, but it is unfortunate. But I'm happy to report I have gotten a whole bunch of Chronicle effects. So overall, I still think that it is a win. I got like level 3 noise on my 2 explorers. I don't know why I did not get a single one for the third one. I also got noises on the Beyond Pros, on my Dark Mana Requiem as well. Again, I don't know why I don't have anything on the second one. But overall, really, I would say fruitful. It has not only just let me play this deck a lot, which is just a fun experience overall. I just love playing with this deck. Also got a whole bunch of cosmetics, and also learned a bit as well, which I would probably help me do better next time, even when the deck will probably be nerfed after the ban list. But one thing I want to show before I end the video is a replay of basically how you beat Gradius, because this is something that I learned throughout the event, because you are going to play against a lot of Gradius if you play in this format, and it is important if you play Dark Galaxy to be able to know how you beat that deck. Definitely it's going to be a rough matchup. I'm not going to tell you that this works every time, but it is definitely a thing that you do to increase your win rate against really bad matchup in Gradius. So first of all, you are most of the time you will be able to tell if your opponent is playing Gradius, because Gradius is not a legacy skill. They play well, I don't know what's called, Avaricious Destiny Draw. This is not a legacy skill, and so only a few characters can use the skill, and you can basically tell by what character they are using and if they are using a legacy skill or not. And this character is one of those that has the a Pot of Avarice skill, so immediately I know that this is going to be Gradius. So what you do is, if you go first, you always set free pass. Even if you have like a tribute summoned monster, you always keep them in hand. You want to set free. Very important. Because you always want as many face down monsters as possible. And that basically forces them to be able to use the effect of material 3 times, because that's the way that they flip your monsters face up to be able to actually deal damage. Otherwise, they don't actually have piercing. So if you're unlucky, they will be able to do that, but usually they are only able to do that twice reliably. And to be able to do that 3 times, they have to draw one of the spells that puts back one of the fusion monsters back into the extra deck. So our opponent is going to basically do their combo, and you'll be able to notice that they didn't actually flip any of our guys face up. They probably know that their hand is not good enough, so they don't even attempt to go for the flipping face up combo. And the other reason why they didn't do that is because they know that they won't lose next turn, so because they drew a copy of Star Protector's Protection. So they're going to use it during the draw phase. If they don't use it during the draw phase, you can force it out by making a copy of Beyond Probe, and they will be forced to activate it if they have one. And then when you know that you can't win, what you do is you set free. You don't even attack once, you attack 0 times, you set free monsters, and then you pass. Very important to always have exactly 3 set monsters against Gradius, because they can flip 2 monsters up very easily, but not 3, because their zones will be clogged. And they have to draw very well in order to actually be able to do that, and also activate the effect of the fusion monster enough times to actually reduce your monster's attack to an amount that they can actually win with. So as you can see, they can pretty easily flip 2 monsters face up, but the third one will be a bit of an issue because they will have 2 fusion monsters on the field to clog their zones, and it's very difficult for them to have both the British ship and material on the field. So they're gonna attack 2 times, they deal a whole bunch of damage, does not matter. As long as we don't lose, this is going to be good enough. And then what you do now, when they don't have any more Star Protector's protection, is you win in 1 turn. And the way you do that is you go for double Dark Matter Requiem. All of the monsters have 800 defense, so even if they have full amount of life points, you deal enough piercing damage to just win. So we're gonna do just that. Activate our skill. Other thing I forgot to mention is that you don't draw with your skill until you are certain that you can win. So if you are able to remember, during the turn when they used the Star Protector's protection, we activated our skill to stack the top of our deck to make sure our next draw phase has a better draw, but we did not draw from the skill. The draw is once per duel, so we're gonna only use it when you are certain that you can win. So in this turn, we're able to use the skill to actually get one of the missing pieces to our hand to be able to let us make the 2 Dark Matter Requiems that are required to win in this matchup. So we can use the effect to flip them both face down, and then our opponent will lose. So yeah, that's basically what I have to say about this WCQ. I thought it was pretty fun because I didn't play speed. I didn't imagine it would be a lot less fun if I played speed. But I just want to say that I hope that Konami doesn't nerf the deck too much. I really like playing the deck, but I understand if they do. I just hope that one of the Gradius cards gets limited to 3 so that I can't play that War Criminal of a trap card anymore. But yeah, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. If you played in this event, please tell me how you felt, and we'll see you in the next video. Goodbye!